Now, I want to offer you a strategy so that you can actually bring your high expectations to your child always, even during those moments where parenting doesn't feel so easy. The first, notice what your kid's doing today. Notice their strengths. Think about the very best thing that your tween or teen brings to the world. What makes you proud? But there are going to be those moments where you're going to need kind of a spiritual lift. And where it's going to be hard to see the strength in the teen standing right in front of you at that particular moment. That's where you bring your memories back. You remember who your child's always been. You know, you fell in love the moment you felt the move inside of you or that you held her in your arms. That's the moment you fell in love. And then as your child was 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, remember how you celebrated as you began to see who they really were? You got glimpses into their personality. Those were actually character strengths you were noticing. Remember the joy you felt when she ran down the street and say, "Mommy's home, Daddy's home"? Bring those memories back. Think about your child. Think about what it was that made you proud when he or she was little. Her passion, his sense of fairness, his sense of justice, her sensitivity, her strength, his hard-headedness. Remember when you used to go, "Gosh, he's stubborn just like me"? That's when you began to know your child and you began to celebrate their strengths. Never forget these things. These are the things you've known since your kid was 2 years old, and he might smell a little bit right now, but he's the same person. And your knowledge of who he really is the most protective thing in his life, trust me. Let me tell you about my girls. So they're 21 years old now, and we really had very easy adolescences. But we had moments where we wanted to scream. Let me tell you who they are. They're the little girls, they're twins. And I remember when they were about 3.5 years old, they called a family meeting. And the point of the meeting was to make sure that we didn't turn the lights off inside the house. And my wife and I looked at each other, assuming it's that they were scared of the dark. It wasn't that. They were worried about the moths. They knew that the moths were hanging around inside. It was the summertime, and they were worried that they would get lost if we turned off the lights. What would they do? So we sat down and we came up with this strategy, and the strategy was to turn on the outside lights and then turn off the inside lights. And then we went to a store and we got the girls, you remember those little box flashlights, so that they could walk the moths out to be with their grandmas. And me remembering that sense of caring even about moths, trust me, when you remind yourself of all that was wonderful in your child, you're gonna see it in your teen. And you're gonna draw from those memories every day, but especially when you need that extra strength. Something's going to change in your presence when you remember who your child really is, and you're going to bring that to your interaction, and that's going to change everything. Rather than entering the interaction from a place of condemnation or shame or anger, it's going to be from a place of love. You're still going to deal with the same problem. I'm not telling you to ignore the problem. I'm telling you to come at it from the right direction. And then your child's more likely to rise to your expectations. What is love? Love is seeing somebody as they deserve to be seen, as they really are. Not through the lens of the behaviors they might be displaying in the moment, and absolutely positively not by what they might be producing in terms of grades or scores or awards. When a child is loved, seen, known as they deserve to be seen, is what gives them the confidence now in the moment, and trust me, far into their adult lives, to take the chances that will allow them to recover even during difficult times. This kind of love, it's the most protective force in your adolescent's life. And it draws from the bond that you've had from the moment that she was born. That bond is strengthened by those wonderful memories that gave you a glimpse into who she really was. What I'm asking you to do is to never forget that she's still that person.